man.
What's your name?
My name is Cardi Cornish.
And you a legend?
I'm a legend.
You're a legend here in Baltimore City. Where we at right now?
We live in the 17, Pennsylvania Avenue. The legendary Pennsylvania Avenue.
Man, the last time I saw you here, you were doing something just across the street here. What were you doing?
Oh yeah, I had some food left over from an event. We brung it out. We fed a couple of people, man.
Why you do that?
Nice soul food.
Why you do that?
Man, the love that God has shown me in Christ, man, it overflows. That's how it overflows.
That's right.
We got more than we can use.
Already was high within San Antonio, Winchester community, but the age group is getting younger. Children under the age of 18 being murdered in San Antonio has a high peak right now. So our goal is to catch the children.
You going hard, man. You going hard on that man today.
So what do you think, Mr. Mayor? You got manufacturing right here, helping our young people despite all of the challenges in the city of Baltimore, right here on North Avenue.
No, it's really about the growth. Just knowing where, being there when they were down in Fort Covington and seeing how far it's grown. Like you said earlier, like getting the Sorbet, you know, where we got the Sorbet at the beginning, but now being able to, when I'm at Cannon Yards, get it, or anytime I'm down at Harbor Place to get it, and folks to not even know, but they gonna know now that like this is coming from young people in West Baltimore, right there in West Baltimore on North Avenue, where they think nothing great comes from, but they can see it in what the young people do.
Here on the Pike, Mississippi, down right there, French Lord Mathis. A beautiful town, just leaving Algiers, which is an update 10 years since Katrina. All right, y'all, this is what I came to New York for. Besides the Black Wall Street Awards, we're going ahead and get some of this real good jerk chicken. Donnie Glover, out.
I feel the warmth of your skin, just the touch of your hand makes me tremble within.
But we need to feed our loved ones. DOTS needs to rescind this package policy program so that our loved ones are able to eat every day in that filthy facility that
we have some stars in the building.
I always like that introduction. Got Chief Smith on there. Donnie Glover here. In case you don't know, that's my first book, Unapologetically Black. Second one, I Am Black Wall Street. And most recently, Journalpreneur. We have a big Black Wall Street Summit coming up on January the 4th. We have on the line with us before we bring in our panel, the one and only Alice Toriente. Miss Alice, how are you?
Fine, thank you, Donnie. How are you?
I just love your political updates. What should we know about?
Well, the Gates report was released today, and that's been very, very interesting. Of course, much of it was already known, but it was officially released today, and so that's a big political swirl. Aside from that, the President Biden has commuted the sentences of many of the people that are on death row. There were 3 that were not commuted. They're going to be still on death row. The person who killed the people in the synagogue, the roof guy who killed the people at the black church in Georgia, and there's one more that I'm not remembering right now, but those were the 3 that were excluded from his exoneration. But I'm still in mourning, though, because of the loss of our girl Kamala Harris. She had the cash and the credentials. And everybody that I've talked to is very concerned about her loss, but we feel that there'll be a brighter day and she will be doing some other things. However, we're also looking at the number of people that President-elect Trump is trying to put in his cabinet. And that has created quite a problem because many of them are unqualified and are Trump sycophants. So we're looking to see what's going to happen with that.
Good deal. Who was the greatest black politician to ever come through the state of Maryland from your perspective?
I'm not going to repeat that because the jaundiced eye that I would be seen as through if I would say that.
It was your daddy, State Senator Troy Braley.
He did a wonderful job when he was there. Yes, he did. He was for the little people.
And my mama took me by the hand and walked me around the corner to his house on Baker Street and said, you're going to get this state senatorial scholarship. You better go in there and talk to the man.
And you got it.
Yes, ma'am. Tell me one last thing. Who were some of the people that used to come to y'all's house?
Oh, my Lord. Jackie Robinson, E.D. Nixon, the man who started Martin Luther King off in the civil rights movement. A. Philip Randolph, Bayard Rustin, Tom Maboya, one of the African freedom fighters. Off the top of my head, that's who I can think of right now. With a whole bunch of older baseball, Connie Johnson, Bob Boyd, some of the ball players, a whole bunch of folks.
Good deal. Miss Alice, we love you and we wish you a very happy holidays.
The same to you and your broadcast audience. Thanks, Doni. Love you.
Love you much.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. We're going to get to our political round table. Danny Blount, are you ready? We're getting ready to come to you. Kenny Brown, how you doing?
I'm doing fine, Danny.
Good deal.
Was on the road for 14 hours yesterday, man.
14 hours. Attorney Bob Dashiell, how are you, sir?
I'm fair to middling for an old man.
Okay. And then we have, of course, the one and only Danny Blount. Hi, Danny.
Happy holidays, gentlemen.
Hey, Danny.
Happy holidays to
Danny,
you.
Kenny, how you doing, man?
I'm doing fine, Bob. How about yourself? Good.
Hey, I'm still kicking as far as it'll go.
That's it.
Yeah, we're in the house. Come on in. Okay, so we have any thoughts on these Trump appointments?
Well,
I'm sorry. Danny, happy birthday to your daddy.
Hey, appreciate it. Yeah, he just turned 89 today. He's in the kitchen right now, listening in, and thank you guys for your well wishes. Down here in Rocky Mountain, North Carolina.
You still got him cooking, man. Come on, man. You out of here.
Hey, Bob, see, you should never say that. You know, darn well he ain't cook. I cook. I do everything. You know,
I can attest to that. Danny's the man.
Why you think I look so good? One of my father and my mother. You don't know?
Okay. All right. You got me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, what was your question again, Donnie?
Well, it was about his appointments. Well, he promised last time to drain the swamp. I think he did it, and he put all the critters in his cabinet.
That's a good one. I like that one.
He sure did, Bob.
He kept his word. He kept his word.
I'm not surprised by anything I'm seeing coming from this guy. I mean, not surprised at all.
You got a 16 count convicted tax evasion felon as the ambassador to France. You got now this guy Matt Gaetz, who would have been the attorney general, but now is going to this platform, this communication platform of some sort. He should be in jail, but then again, so should the guy occupying the White House or soon to occupy the White House. So what's new, pussycat? What's new?
Not a thing. He's giving us exactly what I thought we would get.
Let's shift down to Prince George's County. Have you guys been following the county exec race down there?
It's a large field. And
I
I tell you, what is
I
it?
haven't been watching Prince George's. I mean, other than the fact that it's not my backyard. I play in a lot, so. But like I said, the number just keeps getting higher and higher. The next county exec, they just raise your hand. Donnie, have you raised your hand yet?
No, but I will tell you, tomorrow at 9 a.m. we have an interview coming with Aisha Braveboy, the current
Right.
state attorney. She's been a long-time friend, and I have to just put it out there that I'm very much biased towards her, having worked with her over the past 20 years. She's just been a woman of her word, a woman of character.
So
I asked her. I asked her last Friday, excuse me, Danny, but I asked her last Friday on the little podcast on the other program that I'm on, as she reconciled with Angela. And because it seems to me that if the senator decides to flex her newly gained political muscle, that it could weigh heavily in the outcome of that particular race. And Aisha didn't really answer that. She she did. Her failure to answer was the answer. So so it's gonna, that to me, that's the most interesting thing, to see whether Angela even intervenes, and if so, in what manner.
And on whom behalf she would intervene.
Right. That's what I mean.
With politics, you're always calculating before you make your bets. And I would have loved to have been inside her head and wondered what she was thinking when she came out and said, "I'm backing Trone on this one."
That was bad.
Because if maybe if it went the other way, then we'd be having another conversation. But it didn't go the other way, and she went against now the new senator, who will don't ask if she decides to flex her muscles. She will. Why wouldn't she?
I don't know. I haven't talked to her about it. I guess I'll see her at the inauguration on the 3rd. If I can get anywhere near there. I got an invitation to go to her swearing in on that day, I think. But
right.
We'll see. We'll see whether she does. I would if I were her. Just
knowing politics, Bob, you know they all do.
Yeah.
What they do is they remember.
That's right.
Oh,
they remember. They don't forget.
Let me tell you.
This is fresh. This is not historical. This is fresh.
That's it.
This is the first test for the senator. Power without the man is nothing. You have to show that you are a person, of integrity, and a person that will show the people when it's time to use and to flex your muscle that you will. I mean,
well, let's remember when Wes Moore was running for county executive.
What Wes Moore was running?
Executive.
No.
When Wes Moore was running for governor, there was a little question as to who, whether or not he could get Angela Brooks's support. Wasn't there?
Well, I don't know if there was a question. I think it was all about timing. I think it's all about timing. You're in the game. You just got to know when you're going to slide your chips up. That's all.
Also, when Angela Brooks ran when she first got in the race for U.S. Senate, Wes Moore, he was not the first in line, if I'm not mistaken.
It's all about timing.
That's it.
And I believe word got around, so people supporting or not supporting each other is not always a given.
You ain't lying.
That's true.
Especially when someone has endorsed in the past.
Matter of fact, I remember Angela Brooks having to raise her voice a bit, like, "Hey, you do remember Prince George's County, don't you? Do y'all remember?"
I think that Bray Love, I think what she was doing was paying a debt. She was paying a debt, and those debts could go either way. you know,
Well,
and unfortunately, it didn't go in her way.
I don't know if she was paying a debt or putting an application in that when it came time to run for county exec, she knew she had to have the money come from somewhere.
Well, he endorsed her candidacy when she ran before.
Right?
That's that I'm referring to.
He wasn't governor then.
No.
No, but he had money. He was donating.
No, we're talking about Brave Boy with Tron.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Westmore.
Oh yeah, no. Well, I was really surprised to see that when that came out of her mouth that she was with him.
Well, I remember when Donna Edwards ran. Not everybody was with her. As a matter of
Oh,
fact,
I know that one.
People who went against Donna Edwards, including Senator Kelly out there in Baltimore County.
You got
I remember it well.
She walked
Damn
around
Skippy.
Van Holland, and you know, he's like, I was out there, Donnie, and Kenny knows we were all out there, and we was out there supporting Donna, and then
We were working hard for her.
you know, it's like she promised Van Hollen that she could produce Baltimore County for him, and there was no one out there. She came out to the Grandison Community Center with him.
Danny, we were there.
And,
we witnessed
you know,
it.
and she called me and Ern Plymouth to hide help. Yes, she did.
You gotta respect that, Dolores Kelly.
We love Sister Kelly.
Yep.
She always marched to her own beat.
Yeah.
Yep. She makes her own calls.
Still making those calls too.
Mm-hmm.
I bet she is. She plays possum, but I know she still flexes. She still has the ability to flex. And she puts some young people in politics who her help allowed them to get over the hump.
Kenny knows very well she did that. She helped them hospital.
And who was that young man she helped who ended up turning his back on her?
Oh my
God. About Rob Johnson?
Yeah, that's his name.
Rob Johnson said,
we're not going to say he turned his back on her, but he decided to put those big boy pants on and say, I'm going to do it my way.
He was about to lose his family and his wife, man. A beautiful family, man. And his wife said, no, you ain't doing this no more. And he said, well, this is my last hurrah. And that's what he did.
Politics makes strange bedfellows. Trone had a lot of money, $60 million he put out there and got his butt waxed.
Hey, Donnie, it comes back to that thing called money. And I tell you what, he's probably still got a lot of money. When you got that kind of money, it doesn't matter how much you put out there.
Well, Kenny, let me pose this to you. How do these black candidates, or Democrats in general, support black media?
Not enough. And Donnie, we've had those conversations.
We
not
sure
enough.
have. How many times have we had to almost beg? Now, I said almost because God doesn't make us beggars or
no, we're not beggars.
Borrowers, but Mr. Bob, I've seen Democrats, black Democrats, they literally lose our number around that time of when the political season comes out.
Well, you know, I don't believe in the so-called Democratic and Republican Party as it relates to the interests of black folk anyway. I don't now and haven't for some time. I think I still believe that God blesses the child who got their own.
Yep.
I called out Kathy Hughes last Friday on this little show that was Frank Conway's show on WOLB. I'll mention it. And I said it was disgraceful that she and Radio One have absolutely no locally originated news program in Baltimore City or in any of the cities that I'm aware of. Even though clearly in Baltimore, this community put her on the map, along with the help of people like Dorothy Brunson, who was a good close friend and client who's been deceased for some time. So I called her out. I gave them an ultimatum, and I said, look, I don't want you to pay me. That wasn't the issue. I said, but I'm not going to pay what you've been charging me a month to do your job for you. I mean, the fact of the matter is that more people listen to that program than any other on her network, and people turn to that for information.
So Danny, look, we're gonna have to need you to set that camera down somewhere because you're making us dizzy over here. You're trying to hold it by hand. Just set it still somewhere. Find yourself a nice place without all that sunlight behind you. Now I'll tell you, Mr. Bob, I was on Radio 1 for 21 years. And quite frankly, in that time, our show, I think, outperformed in many ways Larry Young's morning show. As a matter of fact, the day that Anthony Brown was, happy birthday again, Dad. The day that Anthony Brown was, he lost the governorship. Larry Young had Barack Obama on there, but at the time I was a full-fledged Hogan supporter. And Anthony Brown, I think that was 2014, he got waxed. So I'm familiar. And as a matter of fact, they used to tell me on Radio 1, you can't bring this candidate on, you can't bring that candidate on. And I said, well, I paid my damn money. I can bring on here. I'll bring everybody on, but you can't put me in a box.
Right.
That's like putting Steph Curry in a box. You can't put me in a box.
Well, hey, Danny, Donnie, they reminded you it's their house, and we invited you in, but you can't bring whoever you want to bring in.
And
we'll decide that. We'll check them at the door.
That's why we had to get our own house.
That's right.
That's exactly right.
And that's how come we went to WFBR, because they told Bishop that they will control who we have on the show.
No, you won't. If we got to use StreamYard or go to television, whatever the case. Kenny, what is the significance of black media?
Well, hey, the significance is that it's our people. We know how to reach them. We know what they're talking about on the streets. Those other medias aren't on the streets, aren't walking the neighborhoods with them, don't know. And so therefore, we're able to bring the information and the things that they're talking about to them. We know we're closer to them. So if we're closer to them, then we should know what it is they need to know, want to know, and we get it to them. And I still don't understand. And Bob, you brought up Kathy Hughes, and you brought up Kathy Hughes. They know better. They know. She started that way. So to move away from it just didn't make a lot of sense to me.
Except dollars and cents.
Dollars and dollars and cents. You're right there. I mean, but for the rest of it's dollars and cents. Hey, Donnie, how many times have we had this conversation? I always say everybody has a price, right? But when it comes to our people, we will draw the line sometimes that no matter how much money you put in front of me, we're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. All right. And we need that, because otherwise, if it's always just dollars and cents, we can go down there and round up our people and just walk them off the cliff. Now, if somebody's going to get the dollars to do that, inside our community, we need people like Donnie, and we need people like others out there that won't do that, won't sell us out like that.
Kenny, I think of when Kwesi ran back in 06 for
right.
the U.S. Senate. Martin O'Malley and Senate President Mike Miller stonewalled him. They would not let him get any traction. After all that Kwesi had done for the city of Baltimore, for the state of Maryland, those two white males dismissed him. And I'll never forget that. I think around the time Kwesi was doing some stuff for AirFram.
Right.
But his voice was not respected, Mr. Dashiell.
Well, but it was disrespected first in his own community.
Yeah.
That's where it was disrespected first. And therein lies our problem. Our problem is not with white folk. Our problem is with the black folk who want to be like white folk.
Say it again, Bob.
That's our problem is with the black folk that want to be like white folk. That's where our problem lies, and it always and it has been. And I'm tired of people making excuses, telling me about, well, we were trained. Somebody's got some back talk or whatever it's called. But I'm tired of people. And just like you write unapologetically, I don't want to hear any more excuses, Donnie, about we were trained that way or they taught us that way, or this is 2024. Those among us who have had the advantage of being educated, I put that in quotes, into some of the finest institutions that we have in this country. And unfortunately, like Carter Grant Woodson said, educated blacks have proven to be our worst enemy.
We got some feedback going on.
I'm not sure who. I'm not sure where it's coming from.
Okay. Andy Pierre, welcome to the show. How you doing?
I'm all right. Thank you for having me. Sorry for the lateness.
That's okay.
Okay.
I knew you'd be here. I had to have somebody I could yell at.
We got good chemistry.
That's absolutely right.
Andy, what's the latest on your plate? What have you been following politically?
I've been following Prince George's County. There's District 5. There was a lot of going around there. I know let's see. There was the lady on the school board, Shayla Adams Stafford, but she just stepped down, so she's in compliance now. But she was running campaign operations before officially announcing. But when you're in Prince George's County, they have a rule that if you're on the school board, you can't run for any other office without stepping down from the school board first. So she stayed in that gray area, and I can't even be mad at her. I'm like, all right. And by the time by the time people started catching wind of what she was doing, she was she stepped down. So this is going to be a barn burner, District 5, with for Jolene Ivy's seat. The Prince George's County, the county executive race is getting messier by the day. And let's see, there's some stuff in Philly that I've been tracking. Baltimore County, I've been tracking. The county executive race. I've talked to a couple of candidates to see, where to get a feel for it. It's gonna be a good race.
Who do we like for county exec in Baltimore County?
It's a done deal.
It's a done deal already?
It's a done deal.
It's not gonna be a fight. It's not gonna be a fight.
Oh, you mean for 26 or for 26? It's gonna be a fight in 26. Yeah. That's gonna be a real fight.
No. It's it's going
Danny,
to be
who's the
Danny was
caretaker?
talking about the interim.
Who's the caretaker?
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
it's the
the
interim.
interim is
Okay,
gonna be
yeah, no, I wasn't even tracking the interim because I'm like, man, that's not gonna last. Let's pay attention to 26. We're gonna have the real.
I didn't hear Danny's response. Danny, who'd you say the caretaker is?
Kathy Klausmeyer.
Oh, okay.
Kathy Klausmeyer, and then it's going to the Senate person is going to be Carl Jackson, and the proposed delegate to replace his seat is a woman on the Central Committee by the name of Kim Ross. That's what's out there right now.
Okay. Now, what about in 26? What's it look like?
26 is going to be a race. It's going to be a race for the hill because all of them have so much baggage. It's so much that they didn't do in those positions as county council members that will be brung up during that whole process. It's all going to come out. Isn't that right, Kenny?
Well, I'm one who believe that, hey, coming from Baltimore City, what do we always say in Baltimore? What side of town did you live on? East side or west side? Well, Baltimore operates almost the same way. And we got 3 candidates on the west that are going. And I got a belief that somebody's coming from the east. Because remember, Johnny came from the east side. And the east side is beginning to flex their muscles a little bit. So it's going to be interesting.
Well, he came from the East, but he couldn't have won except for the whole lot of help from the West.
Yeah,
Oh
one
no,
way out.
you can't get there without the West.
Yeah, right.
What bothers? And now we got 3 guys from the West who's going to cut the West up in so many slices. It's going to be very interesting. And
Yes.
and in 26, I don't even know if we know who that person
Can't even
from the
call it.
East is going to be.
Can't even
So,
call it.
so Pat Young is in the race. You muted, Kenny.
You muted, Kenny.
I said he's not saying it out loud, but he's going.
Yeah,
So you got
so
Pat
between
Young, Izzy
between
Patoka,
Julian Jones, Izzy Patoka, Pat Young, all 3
and
are from the
others.
West Side.
And others. But the thing about it that will work in Julian's favor is that Pat Young and it, so that you know how that same kind of thing that happened back in the day when O'Malley won that seat over Lawrence Bell, how these black folks split the vote. So that could happen for Julian over in our area. Could possibly happen.
that's it. Oh, was it black people who split the vote, or the fact that Carl Stokes and Lawrence Bell didn't come to an understanding that only one of us need to run?
Yeah, that too. That definitely happened.
Or was it Pete Rollins making a deal with Martin O'Malley
Something
and
like
and what's her name and Ricky Spector, so that Stephanie Rollins Blake would get a seat on the Baltimore City Council?
Well,
Take it in his bag.
Martin O'Malley did stay loyal to his word. He did. Somebody laid rat poison out there for Sheila Dixon. They laid rat poison. Next thing you know, there goes Stephanie. Then we had the first riot since 1968 as a result of Freddie Gray.
Yes.
Which brings me to 2 points. One, as we wind down 2024, 2025 makes 10 years since Freddie Gray. Number 2,
wow.
Why does Sinclair Broadcasting and the Baltimore Sun still have a hit on Marilyn Mosby? I mean, Ed Norris went to prison, came out, nobody said a word. They're still demonizing Marilyn Mosby, Andy.
Well, she tried to lock up their cops. They're still not happy about that.
They broke law.
They're
They
like,
broke
hey.
that man's back.
That's
Well, I think it's more sinister than that. I think they're just doing it because they know that we'll react to it. I don't think they're doing it because they got anything. They know that we will take needed resources and we'll board buses and we'll climb mountains and we'll jump over fences to help somebody that ain't never done a damn thing to help the black community as far as I'm concerned. But they know that that's a diversionary tactic. They don't really. Marilyn Mosby is no threat to Sinclair Broadcasting or David Smith or even Armstrong Williams for that matter. So why do they devote it? Because they know that we'll take the resources that we need to be doing something positive, and we'll go on a witch hunt supporting somebody who ain't never gave nothing back as far as I'm concerned. But that's just me. That's just me.
Hey, Donnie, when we talk about media companies, what's the most important thing to a media company? Eyeball. Sinclair's doing whatever he needs to do to make sure we keep looking and listening to him.
Yeah.
Why don't they put some
That's how he gets his revenue.
Why don't they put some eyeballs on the white addicts that are standing on a corner like they did the squeegee kids?
Yeah, well. Sinclair's going to get his white
mad
folks.
about
Because the thing is, it's not going to make because the thing is, that's not giving poor white America somebody to hate. They need to vilify us, the people of color, and give the poor white man someone to hate so that the poor white man won't pay attention to David Smith and his millionaire buddies. That formula just been what it is. I feel like where we've gone wrong is we've believed this notion that media, like these major media outlets, are the fourth estate, and they're keeping our politicians honest, and they're doing like that. But it's like, dude, these are pieces of property owned by millionaires to do the millionaires' best interest. So You look at the Philadelphia Inquirer. You look at Baltimore Sun. I don't think they're going to be doing any endorsements or anymore. But what the hell does a news outlet have a business doing endorsements? You're putting your thumb on the scale. This is not, your job is to sit here and say, these are all of the candidates running, pros and cons for every one of these candidates. Make your decision. But nah, we want this person. We want that person. We need you to stop this person. Then there's the whole systematic misuse or weaponization of information where it's like, hey, listen, I don't have to make up nothing about you. All I have to do is never highlight anything good that you do. So over a 365-day period, you might do 362 things that are great for the world. But them 3 mess ups, that's the only thing I'm going to talk about. And I'm going to tell millions of people over and over and over again.
Andy, you got to help me
This
with
is
something.
this is the media. We trust this media. We trust the media groups to give us the truth. And there's like there ain't no money in the truth.
What help me with this? What the hell is the weaponization of information? Does that mean me saying something and trying to convince you that I'm right? Is that all that means? Is that what that means? What does it mean?
No, that means me using words to aggrandize simple statements. Oh my God, Marilyn Mosby is villainous. Man,
That's
that woman did something
weaponization.
that wasn't even, huh?
Yes, weaponization. When I was in school, they called that advocacy. So now it's
Nah,
weaponization.
man, because it's a matter of word choice. Look at this. Think about it like this. Defund the police versus community policing. Word choice. Both mean the exact same fucking thing. But word choice means something. They
No, they don't mean the
weaponize
same thing. Defund the police is not the same as community policing.
Dude, when you ask the people who are pushing the movement, the very first thing they're going to say is, no, we don't mean take the money away from the police. We mean for you to reshuffle it and pay for other community wraparound services as part of the policing effort.
Okay.
Is that not what they say?
No. That's what they say, but that's not defunding the police. That's like saying I got 20 sergeants. I'm no longer going to have 20 sergeants. I'm going to have 5 sergeants and 15 lieutenants or 15 privates.
You're making
that's
my
not
point.
That's reallocation of resources. That's not defunding anybody.
That's the weaponization of the words.
So the
weaponization of information. Defund the police as opposed to saying what they actually want.
That's not weaponization. That's lying. Call it what it is. Quit using them euphemisms. Quit using them acronyms. Quit that.
You're right. No, all right. It's not weaponization. It's lying.
It's lying. Okay, let's go. Go ahead, Danny. Go ahead.
No, that was great. That was nice. But media is the tool that's used. It's Doni understood that WOLB was trying to control his platform, and he went out and did his own thing. So we have to be able to have a platform to where we can really give the honest truth, about what's really going on, and kind of like show that the regular, media is not really what you need to listen to. You need to listen to these programs, our programs, coming from the grassroots level and about what's happening, what's going to affect our lives.
Are blacks along the Liberty Road corridor as politically involved as they ought to be?
No.
30,000 of them. Less than that vote.
No.
Why, Mr. Bob? Why aren't blacks more politically involved out the Liberty Road corridor?
You're working 2 jobs, probably.
Who would you ask that question to?
Yeah, Mr. Bob.
Man, I'm always reluctant to speak for anybody but me because I really don't know what's in other folks' heads. My impression is that they came here, they moved here to be comfortable. They came here to find solace, to find peace and harmony, and to escape whatever blackness meant wherever they were coming from.
Baltimore City.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And so you before you become politically active, you got to be awakened generally. And I think that there are too many that are just too asleep, period. You don't have to think with political activity, even community activity, even social activity, still asleep.
Hey, Donnie. I believe once you get too comfortable, you don't fight as hard as you fought to get to be comfortable.
Yeah.
That they believe we've arrived, we're comfortable. It's not my fight anymore. It's the ones we left behind. They need to do the fighting.
But also, Kenny, I think they look and see what's going on. If they don't see it, they don't believe it. You look up and down Liberty Road, those folks aren't happy about, that environment, that condition that's out there. We've been fighting for quality of
Hey,
life for 30
hey,
years.
Danny, they're not happy, but they're not so unhappy that they're taken to the streets. Remember when we didn't like it, we get out there and we fight about it. How many
Well,
of them coming out to fight?
that's an absence of leadership, Kenny.
Yeah, okay, I'll go with that.
Yeah, that's an absence of leadership.
Because we all need leaders.
Yeah.
But what kind of leaders? What kind of leaders do we have?
Sacrificial ones.
Mm.
Ones that are willing to sacrifice for those that claim to want to lead.
Mm-hmm. And don't forget, leaders can get comfortable too.
Yeah.
Isn't that the whole process?
The leaders out there, the leaders out there, Kenny, the leaders are comfortable with doing what they're doing or not doing. They're fine with it. They're fine because they know they can get reelected regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first of all, Danny, you ain't no leader if you can't tell me where it is we going.
There you go.
Right. In other words, you got to have some vision. You got to be able to describe what it's like when we get to where we're supposed to be. And we've never done that. We've never done that even during the best of times, we accepted somebody else's advice on where we should go and what it should look like. But that's why the so-called civil rights movement fizzled out, because at the end of the day, we were supposed to be invisible. We were supposed to be unseen. We were supposed to be unheard. We were supposed to assimilate into that wider side, that wider colorblind society.
Let's talk about Ken Oliver.
I got 2 minutes to do that before I gotta jump off in 2 minutes, but go ahead.
Let's talk about the legacy of Ken Oliver. We all know that there was a lawsuit that was done in 2002 after the census came out that showed that the Randallstown area, the 4th Councilmatic District, needed to have someone that represented them as a community of African Americans. So Ken Oliver was someone who was chosen to fill that need. Right? Right,
chosen by who?
Well, we know who.
Chosen by,
who was doing the choosing back there, Donnie?
By Dolores Kelly.
Yeah, but I thought Ken Buck doing her.
No, that was a group. I tell this story. That was back during the days of Ella White Campbell and those folk. Bernetta was involved, and what I think what happened was, in fact, I know that we were meeting in Ella's basement one day, figuring out how Dashiell, who had just come off the school board, was going to run, and somebody looked at the map and said, "Oh crap, we can't run Dashiell." And somebody said, "Why?" Because he ain't in the 4th district. He's still in the 2nd because they drew the line around my house. That's how Ken Oliver came to be.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be Ken Oliver.
It was supposed to be you.
Yeah. I remember that, Bob.
Yeah.
They drew that line right around you, Mr. Dashiell. I remember that too.
Y'all too old to remember that.
The other thing out in our area too is that when the NAACP had an election for Baltimore County, and Dr. Campbell didn't like who won that race, and they decided to do what? To make a Baltimore, well, I guess a Randallstown NAACP is what happened.
Yeah.
So we have 2 NAACPs in Baltimore County.
Yeah.
A Randallstown and a Baltimore County. Does that make sense?
Confusing.
No.
Extremely confusing. Who has the most power?
I tell you, I see Ron Coleman on TV more than anybody. tell you
What
that.
station? What
I know that
station,
he
Donnie?
has.
Not Donnie. Danny, what station?
Well, I'm talking about just the news. I'm talking about when
Yeah.
stuff happens. He's out there
No,
doing his, his commentary or talking about the
no,
issue
no.
at hand.
He's plugged in with Fox right now.
Oh,
That's
he's
who
plugged in
carries
with
them
Fox,
more.
and he's plugged in with Izzy Potaka. That's who he's plugged in with.
So my question is, which one of them groups, like if you go to them and you say, I need 100 people on doors by Saturday, which one of them can actually do it? Because unless you can do that, you ain't got no power.
Neither one of them.
Andy, neither one of them. It hasn't happened yet. Isn't that sickening?
Mm-hmm.
If you can't move people, what are you doing?
Two of them. There you go. There it is.
Move people, but you're representing black people.
Well, here's the biggest problem
just,
with us moving people. When you talk about putting people on the doors, we can't find young people who look like us. We can't get them engaged enough. I can tell you right out there now, I got those youngsters out there now, young people who got the legs, who got the energy. They don't look like us.
Who do we have on deck to replace
That's because the
Julian
young people
Jones?
who look like us, you gotta pay them. You're not gonna get no young people who look like us, who wakes up in the morning hungry and who has to go out and jump on a bus and to come volunteer, who's home. So you're not gonna get them to come volunteer for 4 hours, run all over the place, do all that. No. You got to put some money in their pockets.
All right, so
You
who
gotta
do we
put some
have
money in
on
the
deck
streets.
Andy, who do we have on deck to replace Julian Jones if he should win the county exec race? Because I think a big problem is we don't have a deck.
Hey, Donnie, whether he wins the county exec race or not, once he decides to run, we're going to need somebody on deck no matter what, because he has to give up.
Right.
He can't run. He can't run and run for county exec at the same time. There's going to be three county council people who we know for sure will not be there. So three seats are going to open.
Mr. Bob, I know you're about to go, but who do we have on deck? Any thoughts? Okay, I guess he's pulled on out.
Hypothetically, Tony Fugit can come back and run for the second again. Well,
Tony, Tony Fugit came so late to the dance in 2022. It was just one of those kind of things like, why? Just to put your name out there? Well, you're the one who gave up the Baltimore County NAACP to do this, but why did you wait until the 23rd hour to do that?
Well, it's my belief. It's my belief, Andy. Money doesn't guarantee that you will win the race, but not having it guarantees that you don't win. And it guarantees that you don't win.
You're right, because
and anybody who's thinking about it now, they should be out there raising funds and building that account. Because I'm going to tell you, it is going to have close to $1 million.
That's right. Between the primary and the general election, Trone spent $62 million, whatever it was, but Hogan, the RNC, gave Hogan over $100 million.
Yeah.
They didn't spend it with black media well enough. I can tell you that.
There you go.
Yeah.
And he didn't follow a lot of the game plan that he did when he ran for governor. And thirdly, he didn't have a Boyd Rutherford with him. I hear that Hogan is considering a rerun. Hold up, Danny. Danny, we can't talk over each other. Hogan is going to be running again, but the Republicans have a similar issue, as does Baltimore County black people. Who is their go-to black person now? I mean, I don't think Boyd's wife wants him out there anymore. Michael Steele, he's moved on other things. The Republicans' bench is as short as the black people out Liberty Road. Damn. And that's our most upwardly mobile black community in Greater Baltimore. Randallstown, Woodlawn, Security, Pikesville. What in the world is going on, black people?
You talk about a lot of black people, particularly that I know that I think would make good elected officials. They're very much like, nope, I don't want to be a part of that. And I'm like, well, don't complain to me that the system is this and the system is that, when Hey, you don't want to help solve the problem. You just want to sit back and complain. But
Yeah.
it's unfair to say that because they're discouraged. They have reason to be discouraged.
Well, I tell you what, and it's because it is a huge sacrifice, and you know they get a lot of perks. There's a lot of things that come along with it, but they take a hit, them personally and their families. I mean, it takes everything out of them.
And you're to blame for everything that goes wrong.
Yep. Well, no, even if it doesn't go wrong, I asked you for something, you didn't give it to me, and now you're bad.
You know, there's a lot of discussion as to things that are not done, and it'd be like,
Right.
you know, I try to look at the things that people do and judge them based off of that. If you coming in here and you do some good work, but you know there's some things that you don't do, that's one thing. If you're coming in here and you're doing bad things that we know are harming the community actively.
Let me go back in history a bit. Has there been a school superintendent as good as Joe Hairston since?
Well, you know what? I like Dallas. I like Dallas Dance. I thought Dallas was doing some good stuff when he was there.
He was great. He was great. He made a mistake, but he was phenomenal.
Y'all talking about before my time.
Joe Hairston, he was during the Obama era, but I remember they came after him, and I couldn't understand that. Why the folks out Baltimore County and inside government, the bureaucrats, why they went after Joe Hairston. I thought he was absolutely the bomb. And these, I don't know, it's like they get a black out there, and then here come this cadre of white women coming after the black county executive. I've just seen it 3 or 4 times, and I don't understand it. Kenny, do you understand it?
No, I'm trying to recall what you're talking about. Who was coming after who?
After Joe Hairston, this was at the end of his tenure. And there was a group of people trying to demonize him and talk smack. I know because he actually hired my PR firm to accurately portray the story, but they were trying to paint a picture like he was ineffective, and I thought he was just absolutely the bomb.
Well, hey, Donnie, that was back to some of that East Side, West Side politicians, because Baltimore County hasn't gotten over the fact, especially on the East Side, that we've had black superintendents ever since Dubell left. That has bothered them, and I'm gonna tell you, white folks care about their schools, man, and as soon as you started putting blacks in leadership, they rose up over on the East Side. And they've been, and no matter who we put out there, they shoot at them. And if you ever go to a school board meeting and look who's sitting in those meetings, they're not people that look like us. It's those other people sitting in there.
So here's just a geographical question. Because the county seat is in Towson,
right?
Does that disempower the black community?
Huh? No, I don't think so. I don't care where the seat sits. What you care about, who sits in the seat there and what they're doing for, and I'm one who thinks about the West Side all the time. What are they doing in the West Side? If you're building schools, are you building them on the West? Are you building them on the East? Are we getting new libraries or recreation centers? Where are they going? So I don't really care where the person sits. But what the person does who sit there. And for a while, people don't realize it. For a while, all the county execs, the last 5 or 6 before Ochesky came along, all those county execs came from the west side of the county.
Right.
And soon as they we were very suspicious of Johnny and Brochin when they were coming. Remember, we thought Vicky Almond, who was from the west side, would take care of the west better. But Johnny came in and he knew he had to win the west side to get it. And he played it right. Came right to the west, rounded up the people he needed, and picked up the west side of the county, and he became county exec by what, 14 votes?
17 votes.
17. All right.
But he also
all right, guys, I'm going to have to bounce off here. Okay.
Right, thank you, Kenny. So, any final thoughts as we conclude this political roundtable? We've talked about Baltimore County, Prince George's County, Donald Trump, Democrats, Republicans. Mr. Bob always says that neither one of them are our party. Does an independent ever have a chance in America?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. And I tell you why, because I watched the program Designated Survivor, and I believe in Kiefer Sutherland. Okay, and I've lived long. And I've lived long enough. And you watch it, and you'll see. Even though that show went out of production years ago, you'll see stuff that's happening today in the program called Designated Survivor.
I saw it.
I've lived long enough to see a lot of my nevers come true. And so has everybody on this program. We've all lived long enough. Somebody, somewhere, sometime in our history, somebody said there'd never be a black president. Somebody will say there still hasn't been one, but I'm not going to deal with that perspective right this minute. but one of the ways that to keep people in bondage is to teach them to believe that they can never be free. So I reject out of hand the notion, don't say can't to me. I don't care if it happens in my lifetime. I would like to see it, but I'm not vain enough to think that if it doesn't happen in my lifetime, it ain't never going to happen. Because stuff that happened before I got here, and I know the world's going to continue when I'm gone. And I'm going to leave something for my grandkids to do. So that's okay that it didn't happen for me. They'll take it up and they'll keep it right on going.
And Andy, who should we be keeping our eyes on politically in the Baltimore, Maryland region area?
Baltimore County, we be keeping our eyes on that sheriff's race.
Why?
Your boy RJ Fisher's been coasting for too long. He's gonna have a real challenger this in 26.
I hope so. And I hope Schallenberg was the state's attorney ought to have one again next time also.
Yeah, have one last time.
I said that's why I said again. He had a real and next time it ought to come out better.
No, he didn't have one last time.
Oh, I think he did.
No, Robbie Leonard was good.
I don't know. I feel like Robbie's whole campaign strategy was all social. You know, he'll knock a few doors, but like, where's your real op? Where's your money?
Well,
okay. Well, on a positive note, any Ravens fans online here?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I'm a Ravens fan. I don't watch the sports, but I am a Ravens fan.
Danny, what did it mean to beat the Steelers?
It meant everything. It meant that we stopped them from clinching the division. It meant that they have to regroup. It meant that Lamar Jackson is still in the discussion of MVP. It means that we can still win the division. It meant everything.
It means I'm going to call up to Pennsylvania and talk some smack. The game, but that's I might not follow the sport, but I could pull up some clips and be like, yeah, boy, y'all suck.
Yeah, that's Tomlin in his tracks. I never seen Tomlin. Never seen him.
How your boy Eric Adams doing, Danny Blount, up in New York City?
He's holding on, ain't he? He's still there. He's still holding on to that position. But, everything's going to happen in time. But right now, he's kind of like under the radar, but on the radar.
Did I hear something, Danny, that suggested that Trump was now one of his backers?
I did hear that. I don't know how true it was, but I've heard it, Mr. Dashiell. Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
maybe
gentlemen,
that's why he's still hanging around. That's a good point. Very good point.
Thank you all for
a lot of
joining us
interest in New
today
York
for another edition of Political Roundtable. My name's Donnie Glover, Dashiell, Danny Blount, Danny Pierre. Good afternoon, world.
All right. See you guys.